This is All Sports All the Time, episode
1010, baby. We made it,
what
finally.
He said. We did another one of these
1010.
episodes that ends in a 0. Always exciting. Unfortunately, Parker is not here. We forced him to eat Chick-fil-A soup one time, and all of a sudden he's gone.
He just chickened out.
We have a lot of stuff to get through this week.
Mucho macho.
So, yeah, a ton of, very sports-specific stuff. I know sometimes we get off topic. Sometimes, it's called All Sports All the Time. When we get off topic, it becomes some sports
some of the time.
Occasionally.
Or all Marvel all the time.
That has happened as well. But there's a lot of stuff to get to, so we are just going to hit the ground running. Luke, I was prepping for the Olympics this week. Looking at all the different events
You're
and
going
whatnot.
to the Olympics?
No, I just prepping to watch them.
Oh, I thought you meant training to go to the Olympics.
No, I was not doing that.
That's sad.
I was training my brain
so
I could consume the Olympics properly. Because there's some new sports this year. Baseball's back in it. Softball's in it. There's some really interesting sports in the Olympics.
Surfing.
Yeah, climbing.
I didn't see that one.
There's some random ones, but I was looking through a list of them, and too. There is a sport that is just the pentathlon.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's I should have written it down, but I think it's running, shooting, swimming, and 2 other things, obviously, because of pentathlon, it's 5 things.
Because pen is 5.
And I was they pretty much combined in this pentathlon the 5 most boring events. And so I was thinking, if you could create your ideal pentathlon, what 5 events would you combine to create your perfect pentathlon? How would the pentathlon begin?
The pentathlon would begin with cheese rolling, right? You've seen that, right?
Okay.
You've seen the cheese
I have
rolling.
not seen it, but I've heard of it.
Okay, anyway.
Yes.
It would start with
fantastic sport.
It would start with a cheese roll, right?
Okay.
And then
how far?
Just
mile cheese roll?
No, gosh, no. It's just down the hill, which is probably just about 600 feet or something like that.
Okay.
So, because if you've watched videos of it, it's just down a large
It's
hill.
down a hill? Oh, that's easy.
No, so you run after a roll of cheese that's rolling downhill.
Yeah.
That's the first leg of the event.
Okay.
And then immediately after that, you go into a round of croquet.
Okay. All right, you slow it down a bit. High pace.
Play a round of croquet.
Calm down here.
That's your second event.
Yep.
Third event, wife carrying.
Yes, of course.
Easily.
Obviously.
No doubt in my mind.
Yeah. Throw it right in the middle. Keep the audience who's maybe getting a little bored during croquet. Yep. Okay.
Exactly. And then your fourth event, you gotta slow it down, because if you gotta fast pace, slow pace, slow pace, whatever, just because that's how you do it.
You gotta mix up the flow.
And so you go with a round of knock hockey, a game of 7.
Knock hockey. Okay, getting creative.
And then
all right, that's a good one.
Your 5th and final leg. And the reason it's your final leg is because who knows if you'll make it out alive of death diving. That is your 5th leg of the
How is death diving part of a race? Is it you get to dive first if you were ahead after the others? Also, how do you race with knock hockey? The first 3, I understand how it could be part of a race. Like croquet, you're trying to finish first.
Knock hockey, it's a game to 7. If you the sooner you finish, the quicker you get to move on, and whoever loses has to suffer.
Whoever loses has to keep playing, maybe, and they play the other losers.
No, because that's unfair. It's an even amount of people racing, and they pair up. The loser has to suffer a minute penalty for however many they lost. So if they lost 7-0, that's a 7-minute penalty. If they lost 7-6, it's only a 1-minute penalty. That's not that bad.
But the game probably took longer than a 7-0 game. So you got to balance that.
And if you're
strategy.
losing 7-6, that's a close game. You didn't lose by a lot. You're not terrible. Therefore, you don't need to suffer as much.
Yeah, I think I might just let my opponent score 7 times in a row so that our game is done in literally 10 seconds.
I guess that's part of training for my pentathlon.
Might be part of it.
You got to strategize and think, okay, in correlation to the other people's games, is it going to be longer or shorter than 7 minutes?
I don't know how long a 7-6 knock hockey game takes normally.
I don't either.
So you'd have to study that. You would have to really focus on the other events, because you can't have that strategy if you're coming in last in some of the other ones. You have to be in the top tier coming into the knock hockey to allow yourself to do that. So only certain people could pull that off.
Did you know that in
death
Sudoku
diving.
there is over 600 sextillion ways that the puzzle can be made and solved?
I did not know that. I don't know why
Fun
I
fact
needed
for the
to
day.
know that.
Okay, moving back on to the pentathlon.
Cool. Sudoku's not part of your pentathlon.
No.
That's good.
But
Okay.
if you win, you get a free Sudoku book.
Oh, not a medal. I was thinking you got a medal.
No.
No gold medal?
No, gold Sudoku book.
Okay.
Well, no, you can get a gold medal if it's affiliated through the Olympics.
Ah,
I personally will give you a Sudoku book for free.
Okay. You will be there. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, obviously.
All right. Kind of like the giant check presentation, but it's a Sudoku book.
Pretty much.
All right. Yeah. My ideal pentathlon would begin with a. Have you seen the Olympic event of speed walking?
Yes.
Yes, it would begin with a 1 mile speed walk.
Ooh, fancy.
Which would actually probably only take like 7 minutes because
Yeah.
the fastest people are ridiculous. So it would be a mile speed walk, first event. Second event, water polo. It's a game. It's a game of water polo. The teams would be created based on where you finished
your speed walk
in the speed walk. So like first place would be on one team, second place on the other team, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. They'd be on opposite teams. The winning team you would play to, I don't know what you play to in water polo. I'm going to say you played at 5 because we want this to be pretty quick.
Yeah.
First to 5 goals. The winning team gets to start the next event, obviously, before. But the losing team not only has to wait, they have to wait in the pool. They have to keep treading water. And that's not fun. Like, I can tread water, but I feel like treading water after a game of water polo would be very tiring.
Ooh.
The third event...
Before you go on, I think it'd be so cool. So say you have 20 people racing. Your first game is a 10v10.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, the 10 people on the lost team split up and you have a 5v5. That'd be cool. I don't know. And just keep going down to 2 people.
Kind of like my idea for your knock hockey.
Yeah,
Losers
exactly.
Play each other.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
That
would have said that, but then you made the good point of like, that would kind of be unfair and it would take a long time.
Yeah.
It'd be hard for the TV people to cover it. Because they'd be like, okay, it would be hard for them to explain to the audience, like, okay, this person lost to this person, but then they won, and then they lost to that person. And yeah, it's just less complicated. They wait in the pool while the winning team goes and has a free throw shooting competition. That is the third event.
That would be my downfall.
So, yeah, I think speed walking would be all of our downfall. And then, yeah. Parker would probably win in this because he beats us in all of our competitions that we do, but Parker would probably also beat us in this pentathlon. Anyway, it's a free throw competition. All you have to do is hit a free throw.
Just one?
Yeah.
Oh, well then I'm in.
So it's literally, again, it's based on the order of where you finished. So the winning team, if you finished before somebody, you go up to the line, you shoot. If you miss, you go to the back of the line. And then this is where the losing team comes in. So it could be really unfortunate for someone, like say they finish second in the race, but they're on the losing water polo team. They have to wait until everyone on the winning team goes through, and then they come in to shoot free throws. So I'd say water polo is probably the most crucial part of this, because it can really flip the competition. I don't know what Luke's doing. He's just kind of like walking around the room. Oh, he's shooting a basketball to demonstrate his free throw shooting skills. Goodness. He's 0 for 2 so far, if you couldn't tell from hearing these bricks. Oh, 0 for 3. That's unfortunate.
But the fourth one is going in.
This is really a visual joke, so I'd say watch this on YouTube. Hey, he's 1 for 4.
That move was pretty good.
25%.
That just broke everyone's ankles.
Yeah, that was a visual joke, so I'd say check it out on YouTube. But even if you're watching on YouTube, you can't see the hoop. So
or me.
Really not helpful at all. Either way. So the third event is free throw shooting. All you have to do is hit one free throw. But if you miss, you're going all the way to the back of the line. Like, for example, if you said, say there's 20 people competing, you're waiting for a while.
Yes, sir.
Third event.
Kind of like knockout.
Yeah.
But you're not knocking people out. All you just have to do is make a shot.
Yeah. Third event is cardboard sledding. Have you seen this? I think there's like an actual name for it. It's not cardboard sledding. It's
I didn't know it was an actual
I think it's
thing.
called like some type of derby. They call it like a something derby. I forget. But basically...
Demolition Derby?
It's kind of... No. that should be... I hadn't thought of that. If that was the 5th event, just a Demolition Derby, everybody hops into some type of vehicle, and it's just last person standing, that'd be funny. No, unfortunately. It's kind of like cheese rolling.
Yeah.
Where it's they have their cardboard sled, and they have to go down the hill. So that's the 4th event in this amazing pentathlon. This is so much... Both of our pentathlons, I feel like we need a petition to get in the Olympics because they're so much more exciting. Like, what a random set of skills you have to have to be in this pentathlon. Anyway, this seems like something that somebody would try to get in the Olympics just because they're the only one that's good at it. And they would just dominate the field.
Yeah, pretty much. Get a few golds.
And then you finish off this pentathlon with a go-kart race. So you start off with a speed walking race, you go water polo, teams split, half and half, free throw shooting, you race down the hill in your cardboard, and then based on the standings at the end of going down the hill on cardboard, that is where your go-kart starts.
That's
in
cool.
line. And then it is 10 laps around said track, and then it's pretty simple, it's just whoever finishes first from there wins. So that's my ideal pentathlon. I don't know how to name it other than a pentathlon because you can't really combine all the
Speaking of pentathlons,
names. So
Parker is in New York because his mom is running a well, I guess you don't just run. But
she's participating in a triathlon.
In an Ironman.
Yes.
A triathlon on steroids.
Yeah, that's what they call it.
I mean, it essentially is.
People aren't on steroids. The event is on steroids.
It's crazy.
We don't want that
I don't think I could ever do it.
Oh, no, definitely not.
But I'm sure she was saying the same thing and then changed and then made it so that she could. I probably could someday if I trained really hard, but I really don't want to.
No.
I don't have any motivation to do that.
Yeah, me either.
But
do you think that if you...
Good luck. I think she might be running it. She might be doing it right now. I don't know for sure.
I think this is a question we might have to ask her. If you, Parker, and I each did like one section of the triathlon, like if one of us swam, one of us ran, and one of us biked, do you think that the three of us... Does she think that the three of us could beat her? Because obviously at each thing, we'd be way worse than her, but we'd each be fresh.
Yeah.
I think biking, we might have a bit of a shot. Swimming, I don't think we would do great.
Swimming, it would have to be...
Running, we could throw Parker out there, and that would be...
She said Parker would drown. I guess Parker's not a very good swimmer.
We would not put Parker in the swimming
section.
I feel like but running,
Parker
he'd be really good.
We have to put Parker in the running. Mm-hmm. Are you a good... How are you at swimming?
I feel like I'm a good swimmer, but I've never tried to swim, like, long distance.
I agree.
So I don't know
I'm a good swimmer, but I've never, like, intended to swim long distance.
How good are you at biking? Like, long distance biking? I've done that, like, once. I think I'm pretty good.
Did it once as well, and I mean, I didn't do bad.
I think swimming would definitely be the hardest. Parker would be our secret weapon. Not really secret. Parker would be our strong suit in running. That would where we could probably keep it close. Mm-hmm. And then... I feel like biking, we would just have to hope that she's more tired.
I feel like you would be better on biking than I would.
The biker being fresh. Okay.
But maybe I would. I don't know.
We'll have to try it sometime. We'll do like a
Oh, what? No! I don't think we have to try this ever.
We could do like a
An Ironman, it's a marathon, so
we could do a modified.
Parker would have to run a marathon.
We could do a modified Ironman. We could do an Ironman as a triathlon on steroids. We could do one that's not on steroids.
They have half Ironmans and stuff.
So, we could do like a quarter Ironman. I think if we do a quarter Ironman, Parker's running, we'd keep it close. I still don't think we would win.
So, yeah, it's...
Because, like...
It's an 112-mile bike. That's absolutely crazy.
Maybe if we did a 12-mile bike.
That's the longest I biked, was 13 or 14 miles.
Let's do a 12-mile bike. Holy cow.
2.4 miles swim. That's farther than I would run most times.
Yep.
I can't even imagine swimming for just 2.4 miles. How long does that take?
A long time.
How long?
Well, it depends on your rate of swimming.
Just average
speed. I don't know how fast I would normally swim. I'm going to say to swim 2.4 miles, if say I could run 2.4 miles in maybe 20 minutes.
Average person. I'd say we're pretty average to swim to
an hour. I'm going to say an hour.
Infinity War?
Holy cow. A CDC study found that 37% of people cannot swim. Wow.
I don't need this.
That's surprising.
Swimming is not a natural skill.
This is just about, can you swim? The average person can barely swim 200 yards.
Swimming 2 miles requires progressive training. Pre-COVID, there is... that's just...
Oh, she's talking about herself personally. An hour.
An hour to an hour and 8 minutes.
And this is probably a person who's,
and they're an above average swimmer.
Okay, I think I could swim 2 miles in an hour and 20 minutes. How's that? Because I think this person's a little bit older, so I might have the, like, youthful energy at the beginning.
This person is not a fast swimmer, they said. And they're swimming at breaststroke, and they're in their 50s, and they swim in just under 2 hours. So I'd say we'd be, like...
I think hour and a half, maybe?
With training.
Hour and a half range?
Like, if I couldn't just go out and swim 2 miles one day. Like, I could not do that.
Say you had the rest of the summer to train.
I'd say I could get myself to... Hopefully, I'd try and aim for a sub 2 hours.
I'd say that's a good goal. Yeah. If you're going faster than a mile
an hour... If I didn't... I'd aim for sub 2 hours if I wasn't biking and running right afterwards.
Yeah. That's the point
here. That's the thing. Like,
we would obviously get crushed by Parker's mom.
Like, although with like good like big name triathlons like this, they have like cutoffs. Like if you don't make it in a certain amount of time, you get cut off. Mm-hmm. But like, say that's not a thing. Like we wouldn't like people pace themselves and save their energy for like the end, or I don't know how they do it. I don't train.
Well, yeah, you can't exert all your energy in the swimming.
But like, I would exert all my energy on my one event.
Yes, that is why. Obviously, I don't want this to sound like we're saying we could beat Mrs. Wolf in like a Ironman race. It's the fact that us only doing the one event. Maybe we would have enough energy.
But even then,
to lock
I don't think we would be able to complete it. I don't think we would. Man. She would still beat us.
You would have to swim faster than a mile per hour. Because 2.4 miles. I'd say if you're swimming like 2 miles per hour, we're in good shape. You'd be down by a lot. And then I don't know what's next. Is biking next?
Yeah, I think running's last.
So then basically you and I would have to keep it like kind of close, and then we just have to hope that Mrs. Wolf is not fast enough to be faster than a fresh Parker.
She's also trained for marathons. This isn't just like this isn't just a 5K or something where Parker could probably beat her. Yeah. This is a full-on marathon. 26.2 miles or something like that.
If we did it right now, we would get smoked. If we had time to like plan this and prepare and like get ready for it, maybe we could make it competitive.
Yeah.
I bet if we asked Parker, he'd say we would win just because he thinks he can
win.
Dust her running, probably. But
at a marathon,
that's interesting.
Parker would start off super strong, and then on I'd say miles 7 or 8, she would just come up and pass him.
Well, no, he'd be way behind her because we were the ones that set him up.
Good point.
So
good point.
He's trying to catch her the whole time.
Yeah.
I think though he probably could catch her because. To have swam 2.4 miles and then biked 112, you're going to be tired.
Yeah.
And then Parker, having not done anything, he's fresh. He'd probably catch her. But he wouldn't have the endurance.
But he wouldn't be able to catch her for 26.
Yeah. It'd be really funny. He, like, passes her at, like, the 8th mile, and he's like, ha! Take that, Mom! And then, like, 3 miles later, she passes him again.
Like, dying on the side of the road.
That'd be really funny.
That'd be hilarious.
Oh man!
Of how we're like laughing at Parker's doom.
Well,
and fate.
I mean, it's
fatality.
We're laughing at his hypothetical defeat.
We haven't even gotten to the headlines.
We haven't. There's so much stuff to talk about.
We have way too much to talk about. We fell in a bad rabbit hole.
We're gonna try. This episode might be a little long, but we're gonna try to keep this as short as possible. This week's headlines: the Bucks are Finals champions. Giannis was amazing. Won the MVP. The Packers, another Milwaukee headline, offered Aaron Rodgers an extension, which he turned down. Future is very concerning for the Packers. The MLB trade deadline is fast approaching.
Gonna be exciting.
Gonna be very fun. The Seattle Kraken had their expansion draft. Also, they have really cool jerseys. The Cleveland Indians changed their name to the Cleveland Guardians.
Not as cool of a name. I don't like it. I'm not a fan.
Nah. Yerman Mercedes retired and then changed his mind the next day. Howard Eskin said that Deshaun Watson will likely get traded to the Eagles. Texas and Oklahoma want to join the SEC. And the NFL has new COVID procedures. That was brought to you.
Episode 101.
What?
Oh, 110.
Just ruined the whole excitement there, Luke. There was the beat drop, and it was like, yeah, and I was about to say that was brought to you by J.G. Graybill, and then you said 101. And
I'm at 110.
Brought to you by J.G. Graybill! Woo! Nice.
Yeah.
You're really in sync there. You want to tell the people about J.G. Graybill?
Sure. J.G. Graybill is your family-owned and operated company here, located locally, if you know where we are.
If you know, you know. And if you don't, too bad, because we are under 18 and probably shouldn't be saying our exact living location.
So. However, if you know them and you want to call them to have them fix your plumbing, they will do that in a heartbeat. They do everything from hydronic heating to...
We've learned a lot about hydronic heating in the last year.
Have we learned anything, though, or do we just keep saying
we learned what hydronic heating is.
I know we did,
It is when your house is heated
by water.
Yeah. They do that.
And they do it with quality workmanship because that does still exist. Just make sure, if you want to get a hold of them, call 717-768-3276 or go to their website at www.jggraybill.com. And when you purchase their services, mention All Sports All the Time to receive a $25 off your order. And with that $25, Owen, what can you buy?
You can buy this basketball hoop called Dirty Dunk with a
it's a hamper. It's a hamper
net. Oh,
like you shoot your clothes into it.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
There used to be like
this is the type of thing that you think Parker would have, but Luke has it.
It's actually my brother's.
In his basement. This is what he was failing to shoot the ball at earlier. I don't know how much it costs, but $25 seems like reasonable for this. So that.
I feel like you get something like that for like $13 on Amazon.
Yeah. Well, no, I feel like Amazon it would be like 30, and then somebody buys one and then doesn't want it, and then you like find it at like a thrift store for 10.
Yeah. 15.
Yeah. It's like it's used but in good condition, so it's like half off. That sort of thing.
Half off. Half.
Yeah. So
half and calf.
What he said, I guess. There are so many headlines this week. You want to each pick like 2 to talk about?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Which one do you want first?
I will talk about the Cleveland Guardians.
Good. That's a good one.
I'm not a fan. The logo, I think, is very interesting. It's a baseball with wings.
I'll put up a picture of it on here.
I'm not a fan of it. And
don't like it.
The name change, like, I understand why teams are doing it, but I think it's overkill. It's a team name, and it's been like that since the early 1900s. Yeah. Why can't we keep tradition? Like, and I'm not saying that to be critical or anything like that, or like racist in any way. Like, I understand why it's happening, and quite honestly, with our culture or with the way the world is now, like, it's something that needed to happen to prevent hate from being thrown at the at Cleveland.
They couldn't keep getting the bad publicity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I also think that, like, something as simple as sports teams, I feel like people like shouldn't be complaining about a simple team name.
I kind of agree with that, but at the same time, like, it is so simple that it's not that big of a deal. It's like, if enough people want to change it, who cares if you change it? Like, they did a really good job of literally keeping half the name. Guardians. They only changed the left side of the word, which is, I mean...
They went from in to gar.
Very, very meh by them. It's not terrible. Like, I like the name Guardians. They kept the same color scheme, which...
Did you hear why they did that?
I guess is alright. Why they...
why they used Guardians, like, as their name. Something about how the, like, bridge into Cleveland is, like, guarding the stadium or something. I don't know. But, like, it was
they have some type of, like, monument.
There was some deeper meaning behind it. I wasn't paying a ton of attention because I heard it at, like, 6:30 this morning and I was really tired. But...
Yeah. I don't have a huge problem with, 1, them changing it, and 2, them changing it to Guardians. Like, that's not the issue. It's that, like, the logo is awful. And they didn't attempt to rebrand anything else. Like, if you're going to change the name, maybe, like, change up, the logo as well, or, like, the color scheme, or do something a little bit more exciting. This was just a very meh transition.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like if you're going to change your name, the Washington football team such a stupid name, but they said it's temporary. Like, they're actually putting a lot of time and thought into it, which if they come out with something good, having the Washington football team for however many years as a temporary, really stupid name, it's going to be worth it. I feel like Cleveland jumped the gun with it and just, like, while they chose from over 1,000 names, like, I feel like they did not put enough time and effort into thinking of something.
So you're like, you don't like the name Guardians.
I don't hate the name Guardians.
Okay.
But I feel like I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm not used to it. Maybe it's because I hear Cleveland and I think Cleveland Indians. But like,
maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
Maybe I'll get used to it. I got pretty used to Washington football team.
It is shocking how quickly we got used to that. Like, nobody calls them the Redskins anymore.
No.
We got adjusted to it pretty fast. The headline I'll go with, let's stay with new teams, kind of. The Seattle Kraken have the coolest jerseys I have ever seen. Fantastic logo, great color scheme.
Yeah.
They're in Seattle, so but
Seattle has
Seattle
done
Kraken
really well with jerseys. Some of their
so
Seahawks jerseys are really cool looking.
The Mariners not great, but yeah, Seahawks and the Kraken, I would say, have the best jerseys in sports. It's a black turquoise combo with a little bit of red.
It's very cool,
dude. My favorite jerseys. And then, I mean, who doesn't love an expansion draft? Like, that's the stuff straight out of video games where you do a redraft. That's always exciting. We don't know enough about hockey to break that down, but Seattle Kraken is a very exciting thing for the city of Seattle, obviously, but obviously also for the... I just said obviously twice. That felt
obviously,
weird.
But obviously.
It's not that obvious. It's kind of obvious, but not super obvious. I feel like saying obvious twice made it less obvious.
Obviously.
Whoa. Nice. Full circle. Just like baseball.
No.
You just go around the bases.
No.
Quote Parker Wolf. Obviously, it's great for the city of Seattle.
Stop saying obviously.
Oh, man. But it's very exciting for the entire NHL as well, is what I was trying to go for. Adding a new team is going to make them a ton of money. So that's always good for them. What's your second headline?
I'm going to take the NFL's new COVID regimen. I don't know. Regime. I don't know. Whatever. Rules. Yeah, there you go.
This one is going to be fun for the next
against
month.
It.
Next month.
I'm completely and utterly against it, and I do not like it in any way, shape, or form.
Care to elaborate?
Yes, I do care. Well, no, I don't care. I will elaborate. Or do I care to... I don't know. How do I answer that? Do you care to elaborate? Do I say yes or no?
Obviously.
Do I care to elaborate? Obviously. They're pretty much forcing, at this point, NFL players to get the vaccine, which I don't think should happen. They shouldn't have to force anyone to get it. If someone wants to get the vaccine, that is on them to get it. And if they want to get it, great for them. Let them get the vaccine. But if there's another person who doesn't want to get it or doesn't feel safe getting it and whatnot, you shouldn't force them to take something. Like, it not to the extreme that I'm saying this, but it's essentially forcing someone to take drugs. I feel like it's on a similar level. It's not drugs.
It's forcing to do somebody. Yeah, it's forcing somebody to do something that they don't want to do
against their will, and they shouldn't have to do that. Are you saying that if one of the teams gets sick because of the flu, just something as simple as the flu, or even a common cold, most times they'll play through that. But are you going to say it's like a bad outbreak and none of the players are feeling well, and they have to say, like, well, maybe they would make them forfeit. I don't know.
No, a team wouldn't forfeit because of the flu.
Exactly. And do we know all
Michael Jordan literally played the flu game.
Exactly. That doesn't. We're not.
Whoa! What if somebody had the COVID game? I don't think they would allow that to happen.
We're not forcing players to get the flu vaccine. We're not forcing players to get the measles vaccine.
Yeah.
Like,
the way you said measles.
Measles.
Please do that again.
Measles.
No. Okay.
Anyway. But like, I don't think it's right that they're forcing. I mean, they're not forcing players, but I don't think it's right that they're putting this kind of threat on NFL players to get the vaccine.
The NFL has done a very not smart, but they have perfectly executed was clearly their plan of not technically saying you have to get the vaccine, but at the same time saying you have to get the vaccine.
Yeah.
Basically, if an unvaccinated player causes a COVID outbreak on their team, and the team can't play the game on the day that it was scheduled, they're not restructuring like they did last year.
I understand that part, not wanting to have to restructure. That was a pain.
It was such a pain last year.
And that was, I understand that part completely. Yes. The NFL on that end, I understand, not wanting to reschedule games, restructure the season. That makes so much sense to me. But the fact that you're risking losing publicity of arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL right now, who threatened to retire...
And then deleted the tweet.
But anyway, he threatened to retire because of this stupid rule. And while I don't think he's going to retire, he's the best wide receiver, or one of the best wide receivers in the NFL in his prime, playing for a good QB, a great QB. It's unreasonable.
Yeah, I think it's a bit extreme, specifically for DeAndre Hopkins, because he can just opt out. You don't have to retire. You can just opt out for this year.
Yeah.
It's an option. But what about the guys who aren't DeAndre Hopkins? What about the, third stringer who's trying to make the roster?
Exactly.
And can't afford to not play? He has to try to make this team. And, the lower level guys is always... And whenever you have a players versus ownership thing, and the players are trying to, make a stand, it's always hard... for the lower level guys to join everybody else in that stand because they need the money.
And then this is leading to more drama on just organizations individually, not just the NFL. I can't remember, was it Detroit or was it Minnesota? Or was it
that neither? Did what?
That the coach got fired for not...
Oh, Minnesota.
It was Minnesota, The coach got fired for refusing the vaccine. He stood up for what he believed and didn't want to get the vaccine, and it lost him his job, and I think that's a little ridiculous.
Yeah, that one seemed a bit over the line. And we're just to make this clear, we're not the crazy anti
No.
Vaccine
that's not how I am. I'm just
people.
I'm saying that I think the NFL took it to a little bit of an extreme.
As a general principle, I'm not gonna be super mad at somebody or anything if they get vaccinated or don't get vaccinated.
I don't care one way or the other, but
your choice.
But I think the NFL trying to force people to do something, whether they're comfortable with it or not, that's not right. Yeah. What you choose is your choice, and
and then it's if somebody is worried about it, who's in the NFL, which they said 75% of players are vaccinated, which is
good enough.
Good job, NFL. You got 75% vaccinated.
Don't cry about the next 25%.
And I don't know, because then the Yankees. They said the Yankees said their whole team was vaccinated, and they had a COVID outbreak.
Yeah, the vaccination doesn't prevent COVID. You can still get COVID.
It reduces the chances.
You can still get COVID, and you can still spread COVID. It just reduces symptoms. It doesn't. It's not a foolproof plan.
Yeah. If everyone, say the NFL gets 100% vaccination, what happens if there's a COVID outbreak then? How do you answer to that?
Are you restructuring, or do you...
This is really hypothetical.
Or do you make false claims of, this person wasn't vaccinated, even though they were, and then some forfeits happen, and then everyone gets really mad, and then it's really dramatic and chaotic.
The two things I do think that could really come back to bite the NFL are, one, if a game gets forfeited, they lose so much money. The NFL is making ridiculous amounts of money in total, obviously, but imagine if even one game a week gets forfeited. That's probably a lot, but I don't know the exact figures, but they are making a lot of money per game with television rights and advertising.
They're losing a lot of publicity because no one while you want to see your team winning, you don't want to see a forfeit. I'd rather watch an Eagles game and watch them lose than to just have them win based off a forfeit.
Well, there'd be nothing to watch.
Exactly. Well, that's what I mean.
They're losing out on all those advertising dollars, all of that TV money, everything associated with that game gone. Because
I'd rather watch an Eagles game and see them lose than just have a forfeit and just have a random win. And then what happens when like, I don't know, does the NFL come down to scoring in the end of the season if there's ties and stuff?
It comes down to, like, in division. Like, say two teams are tied. Oh, no, two teams are tied. If they played each other head-to-head, then the winner of that game gets it.
Yeah.
If they didn't play each other head-to-head, it's who had the better record in division. And if they're tied there, it's who had the better record in conference.
Okay.
So, yeah, like, say the Cowboys have to forfeit a game against the football team.
Mm-hmm.
That could really hurt them.
Which football team?
The Washington football team. Thanks, Luke. Oh, my word.
Okay, moving on.
Yeah,
Owen.
it's going to be really crazy.
It's hectic and crazy.
And a lot of people are going to yell about it for weeks. We're going to try. I think this is going to be the only time we discuss it. Because we don't want to be the annoying guys who are always yelling about this stuff.
I don't want to rant. Yeah. Owen, what's next?
My last headline, I got to pick the Bucks. They won the finals, and I thought I would be more annoyed because the Bucks and the Sixers are like the Bucks and the Sixers, I would say, are rivals. The Bucks are like one of the bigger rivals the Sixers have because they've been battling at the top of the East for the last couple of years. But I felt like I wasn't mad that the Bucks won. This finals was like it wasn't super stressful to watch because it's like, it's cool if Chris Paul wins. It's cool if Giannis wins. I'm good either way. Yeah. It was a very cool finals. I'll say that.
Hyannis. Like a hiatus, but hyannis.
Are you just trying to pronounce Giannis's name in as many ways as possible? Okay. It did make me feel a little bit sad, though, because people have been making fun of Giannis since he entered the league because he can't shoot. Like, people have been nitpicking Giannis's game for his, like, couple of weaknesses. The main one being that he can't shoot, and then shooting free throws being a part of that. And he overcame all of it. He was incredible in this series. Coming off of a leg injury in the series before, still dominated. It just made me really, really sad thinking about Ben Simmons. Because Ben Simmons and Giannis are comparable players. Like, they have similar styles, similar statures. Giannis is a little bit bigger, but they have, like, the same type of game.
At you right now.
Ben Simmons and Giannis have the same type of game. They're comparable in that way. The same style of play.
Very defensive.
And Ben Simmons is not a garbage player like Parker thinks he is. Ben Simmons is a good basketball player. Like, he's a starter. Why are you looking at me? He's a starter in the NBA. I thought you were going to, like, disagree with me.
No.
Okay. So, watching Giannis do this made me just wish that Ben Simmons could be, like, even close to that. Mm-hmm. Because I believe Ben Simmons has the potential.
Players, and then you say, "Oh, I just want Ben Simmons to be even close to the goodness of Giannis."
Well, because did you see Ben Simmons?
Well, I did, yeah.
It's like if
but you also called them comparable players. They're not comparable.
Their play style is comparable.
There you go. You said comparable in the sense of their a goodness level.
Their skills are comparable, but Giannis is a more effective player than Ben Simmons.
I agree.
Mainly because he is aggressive, and he seems to, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, he just seems more confident than Ben, which I guess goes with the aggressiveness. It's not like a statistic, but he just watching him play versus watching Ben play is so, very sadly, it's different.
Very much,
because they have the same skills, and I feel like if Ben could just be have more of Giannis's mentality, he could be so much better. Yeah. But he's not, and Giannis is amazing, and the Bucks won the finals, so good for them. I feel bad for Chris Paul, because he just, people keep saying he's not a top 10 point guard, or they say he's not as good of a point guard because he hasn't won a championship. And I don't think that's fair at all. Like,
I agree with
he's the same level of skilled whether he wins a championship or not.
Are you going to tell me that Mike Trout's not one of the best players in baseball right now?
No, that's my point, though.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, you're agreeing.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm used to doing this with Parker and him disagreeing with
I'm
me.
completely agreeing with you.
Yeah. The championships that you have won do not define how good you are because we're playing team sports here.
Parker, this question is for you. Do you think Fernando Tatis is good?
Say Fernando Tatis plays at this level his whole career, but the Padres never win a championship.
I think they're going to win one in the next couple of years.
I know, but okay. Mike Trout with the Angels is a better example. The Angels, at this rate, will probably not win a championship with Mike Trout.
No.
Now, baseball, it is harder for one player to impact a single game.
Agreed.
If I were to rank them, I know Parker likes quarterbacks championships. I would say in basketball, it's the easiest for one player to affect a game.
Agreed.
In football, it's the second easiest for one player to affect a game. Probably soccer third, baseball fourth. In like one player's
Although I'm
weight.
trying to think of a good quarterback who hasn't. Actually, there are.
My main thing is quarterbacks are only on offense,
Yeah,
whereas basketball, you're on offense and defense.
Yeah.
But yeah, basketball, one player. In basketball, there's only 5 of you. Basketball, there's 5 of you that are playing both sides of the court. Football, there's 11 on each side, and they're playing only one side. To me,
watching soccer looks like unorganized football. It's a lot of guys on the field at once, but football, you have a designated position. The guys are like where they're supposed to be. Soccer, I mean, I know you have designated positions, but I feel like it's just a bunch of guys running around, kicking a ball at each other.
I never thought of it that way. Soccer, unorganized football.
Ooh.
There you go. All right, so those are some of this week's headlines. We didn't even touch on all of them because just a lot happened this week, and we're trying to keep this episode under an hour. Phillies talk. This is just a heads up. This is going to be the serious sports talk part, even though we already did some of that with the NFL COVID stuff. But the Phillies,
our Phillies.
This is the most invested I have been in a Phillies team in my life.
Good for you, Owen.
It is, because the first conscious memory I have of the Phillies and rooting for them specifically is 2013. Either 2012 or 2013. I was 8 or 9. And I've been rooting for the Phillies since then. But since 2012, they have not made the playoffs. They have the longest playoff drought in the National League. If they don't make the playoffs this year, they will have not been to the playoffs in the last decade. I think it's the Mariners. The Mariners haven't made it in
that makes sense.
A really long time.
Mariners are
yeah. But the Phillies haven't made it for the longest time in the NL. If they don't make it this year, it will have been a decade.
That's a very
without
long time.
making it to the playoffs. So I don't remember the Phillies being in the playoffs. So Luke and I were alive for the 2008 through 2011 stretch, but unfortunately, I'm concerned, basically. That's why I'm so invested in this team, is because I'm concerned. Because the Philadelphia Phillies are the worst baseball team ever. They have the most losses ever.
Really?
Oh, yeah. They have the most losses by a North American sports team. Because they've been around since 1883. And they've lost 11,000 games.
Oh my gosh.
I think it's somewhere around there. It's somewhere between 10,000 and 11,000 games.
That is crazy.
That they have lost in their history. And it's because since 1883, they have had 3 sections of sustained success. They had the early 50s, they were pretty good. In the 70s, they were good. And then 2008 to 2011, or 2007 to 2011, they were good. Those are their 3, from 1883 to now.
So a span of
over 140 years.
Yes.
They have had 3 5+ years of sustained success. So roughly 15 to 20 years out of 140. The Phillies are bad.
That's 1/7.
Yeah, not good. No. The Phillies scare me because they held on to their guys from the 2008 World Series team too long.
Mm-hmm.
Chase Utley was still on the team in 2013, I think. They let them get too old before they got rid of them. So the rebuild started late. The rebuild was supposed to be complete right around when they signed Bryce Harper in 2018. Well, it was, I think it was the end of the 2018 season.
Yeah.
So going into the 2019 season. So, their window is now. And ever since they signed Bryce Harper and have started their window basically of when they should have been good from this rebuild, they have not even gotten really that close to the playoffs. They made one push 2 years ago and then they choked in September. They haven't had a winning record in forever.
Even if the Phillies were to make the playoffs, there's no chance that there's a World Series in their future.
Oh, no, I'm not. Well, that's the other thing. I would like a World Series, obviously, but, like, just make the playoffs. I don't even have that high expectations for the Phillies. Literally just, I want to experience the Phillies making the playoffs. I know. It's right not that much to ask.
Right now, we, like, as young people, like...
No.
We don't know a ton of, like, our parents, like, my dad, for example, he knew the whole, like, he grew up watching the whole Mike Schmidt era of the Phillies.
He grew up in the perfect Phillies era.
Yeah, he did. And he's seen a few eras. He's seen
he missed. If he were born in, like, 1970, he would be in the perfect Phillies era. Yeah. So he just missed it, but he got like the back end of it.
Yeah, he got the back end of it. He got the, like, whole Mike Schmidt thing. He got the 2008. Mm-hmm. He got a few good runs with the Phillies and a few different rosters. We've only really grown to know one Phillies era, and it's not been a good one. Like, what is it going to be like in 30, 40 years down the road when we're older and... I mean, you're, like, obviously we'll know the players, but, like, I mean, a lot of those guys might not even be born yet.
How are we going to look back on Bryce Harper and Aaron Nola and JT Realmuto's tenure on the Phillies? Because, like, if you look at the Phillies roster on paper right now, it's good. It's a good roster.
It is a
But they just, for some reason, can't get above 500 ever. And so I wonder if we're going to look back and be like, oh, they really weren't as good as we thought they were, because they never did anything.
Are we ever going to get that feeling... We will. Get that feeling that Dodgers fans feel and Padres fans feel.
Well, no, okay, the Padres and Dodgers are very different because the Padres have been terrible for, like, 30 years.
No.
I feel really happy for Padres fans because they finally have a good team.
No, I agree.
The Dodgers have been good for the last 20 years.
Yeah. And they finally just got their World Series.
They've won the division for, like, the last 10 straight, I think. The Dodgers are exactly what you want your organization to be. They have top 100 prospects every year.
But, like, how do we
it's
get
ridiculous.
That? Do I just
you draft well.
Do I just convert to a Dodgers fan? Is Philly just screwed up in their drafting? Philly's drafting not just the Philadelphia Phillies, but Philly as a city. Mm-hmm. The Eagles, the Phillies. I don't really know
the Sixers.
But sure, the Sixers. Their drafting is so bad. It's so messed up.
And I think that's why
again, 40 years down the road, when we have different GMs, when we've got different people.
Even 20 years down the road.
15 years, maybe. Like, are we going to be better as a city? Are we going to be better?
I mean, all it takes is one good run. Like, the Eagles in 2017. If we didn't have that, our whole youth with Philadelphia sports would be absolutely awful. Because the Eagles wouldn't have won anything. They'd still be without a Super Bowl. The Sixers would have their whole process issue. And the Phillies have...
The worst thing about the Eagles...
Also had a failed rebuild.
They had their run before the Super Bowl was a thing. That's the worst part about the Eagles.
Yeah, the Eagles won, like, 3 championships 10 years before the Super Bowl was a thing. Sad. So that's unfortunate. I think the Eagles actually won the championship, like, 2 years before the Super Bowl started. So they just missed it.
Yeah.
But, like, if we didn't have that Super Bowl... It would just be failed rebuild after failed rebuild, which again, bad drafting. We've just discovered the issue. It's a known thing, but that is all we've known. We might have to do feature. We could do like a feature on this. Like, it wouldn't be an episode. It would just be like we do like a breakdown or something of, is Philadelphia the worst big market sports city? Because Philadelphia is, like, numerically, statistically, a huge sports market.
It's a very popular sports market.
But the teams are not good.
And Philly's got probably one of the larger fan bases in sports.
Somehow.
Among all of their sports.
People always rip Philadelphia fans for being, like, mean.
Which they
Look what we've gone through, man.
Do you blame us?
People are so loyal in Philadelphia.
I mean, we literally, if you're people don't just wake up one day and go, I'm a bandwagon Philly fan.
No. Unless you were born in the 70s, because the 80s, late 70s, early 80s in Philadelphia sports were prime Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. Other than that, nothing.
No.
Two World Series for the Phillies in 140 years. In Almost 100 years for the Eagles. Yeah. I think 4 championships, 1 Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Flyers, I think they have like 1 as well.
We
don't know enough
exactly.
about the Flyers. And I think the Sixers also have 1.
No. But again, you look at the Flyers, they haven't really been good in a while. Like, they've been good. Actually, the last couple of years, they've been playing pretty good from what I've read up and heard about. Mm-hmm. But, like, before that, like, I think they probably were good back then in 70s, 80s, too. I don't really know.
For me, the scariest one is the Phillies. I'm so invested in the Phillies right now because, like I said, they're in this Bryce Harper window, JT Realmuto, all of their good guys.
They've got some young guys that are really good.
Yeah, Bohm is coming up. You've got Reese, Gene, Nola, Realmuto,
Wheeler.
Harper.
You just re-signed Wheeler.
Yeah, Wheeler is the only one of those guys that's over 30. Everybody else is like 27 to 30 years old.
Yeah.
This is your window.
Or younger.
If you can't make the playoffs now, that's it. Like, you're done.
I mean,
the Braves are younger than the Phillies, and they're already better.
Yeah.
And the Mets made it to the World Series.
What's saving us right now is Acuna having a torn ACL.
Yeah.
That is giving the Phillies the push they need.
The Mets made it to the World Series in 2015. Did a full rotation, and now they're back to being at the top of the division.
Yeah.
In the time the Phillies haven't
done anything.
The Phillies haven't completed their rebuild in the time the Mets have completed
once
2.
Once this window closes, we're not going to see anything out of the Phillies for another 10 to 15 years.
Well, that's the other scary thing about baseball is like...
Because are they going to hold on to these guys too long, too, and let them get old and rot?
Bryce, yes, but everybody else, we'll see. Bryce is going to be here till he's 38, and it's good. The last 4 years of that deal are going to be so bad.
They're going to be horrendous.
Which is why they need to win now to make it worth it. Because we'll be like, it's fine. We got the World Series. Who cares if Bryce is here? We
need a World Series now so we can be content for the next 20 years while they rebuild.
We'll be 27 when Bryce Harper leaves. I'll be 27, you'll be 26 when Bryce Harper leaves the Phillies.
That's like how old he is now.
Yeah. Whoa, yeah. I'll be the age Bryce Harper is now when he leaves the Phillies.
When we're saying this. Yeah.
That's strange.
That's weird. So you could be a Phillies player.
I could. Yep. It's entirely possible.
Well, you could also be younger. You could be a Phillies player in 2 years if you pull a Bryce Harper and go in when you're like 19.
There you go.
Or Juan Soto or something like that.
Yeah. So we just let off a bunch of steam on Philadelphia teams being terrible. And if you don't think that these complaints are valid, I would like to read to you a paper I wrote in 6th grade.
We're not reading this whole paper, are we?
It's very short, and I'll summarize it.
Just paraphrase, because we don't have.
We're still under an hour. We're good. I wrote this paper in 6th grade. The Phillies were coming off their 2015 season, in which Ryan Sandberg was their manager. They were so bad that he literally resigned halfway through the year. They finished with the worst record in baseball.
What was it?
They won 63 games. They went 63 and 99.
That is
They got the number 1 overall pick, where they selected Mickey Moniak. So that gives you a hint about how this paper is going to go. But I would like to consider myself a limited optimist when it comes to Philadelphia sports.
What is this font? It's very odd.
Oh, I have no idea. I
don't like it.
I was in 6th grade, man.
I don't like it. Oswald. What is Oswald?
Just wait. You'll see. This is... Yeah. Oh, Oswald's the name of the font. Yeah. I'm in 6th grade. I did my title in all caps, bold, underlined, and in Oswald font. Basically, we had to write a paper about anything we wanted. And so I said... Or no, it had to be like a persuasive piece. That's what it was. You could write about anything, but you just had to persuade somebody. And so mine was, why the Phillies will improve by 10 games. And like I said, I'm a limited optimist when it comes to Philadelphia sports. I think I'm pretty good at we make fun of this with the James character, where it's like, Philadelphia fans like to do, we're the best, we're the worst, like day to day.
Yeah.
And I don't blame them with this Phillies team, actually. I have felt like that a lot with the Phillies in 2021.
I agree.
They've been insanely good, and then they've been terrible.
I feel like the teams don't help us with that, though. Like, they'll perform insane one week, and then the next week they'll just be a garbage can.
But, yeah, this is optimistic 6th grade Owen previewing the Phillies' 2016 season. This is 5 years ago. So just, basically, I'm writing this. This is, again, I'm paraphrasing this, so I don't have to read the whole thing. The Phillies will improve their record by 10 games this year. So they won 63. I had them winning 73 the next year. 3 reasons is that they have a young core, a good manager, and prospects. Now, let's dive into these. The young core, consisting of Aaron Nola, Maikel Franco, and Odubel Herrera.
Oh, yeah. Wow, that has aged.
Herrera is...
quite literally as well.
Herrera's there. He's here. He's average.
In and out of jail.
Nola's good. Jail. He was in jail.
I think didn't he get arrested?
I don't think
or maybe he was there were allegations and they dropped him.
There were allegations and he was off the team for a year and a half. Yeah. He's back this year and he's been serviceable. He hasn't been an all-star, but Odubel Herrera's been decent. Aaron Nola has actually been really good. Great job, Aaron Nola, and then Maikel Franco is just... I think he's still in the league, but not good. I listed some Herrera stats. He had a .297 batting average and 147 hits. He would make the All-Star game the next year. Aaron Nola was called up halfway through the 2016 season, and he had a 3.59 ERA. Franco had also gotten called up this year. He hit 14 home runs in a very short amount of time.
He smacked 14 bombs.
I was in 6th grade. Second
he
reason...
smacked 14 bombs. Who is smacking bombs?
Maikel Franco, that's who. The second reason I had that the Phillies would improve in 2016 was their manager, Pete Mackanin. He was the interim manager. He was their third base coach, and then he filled in for Ryan Sandberg. They did re-sign him, and they played very well underneath him. In the second half of
they play above him?
They played for him because he's the manager. And then I also McCann has shown that he's not afraid to confront players, but he can also have a good time. I don't know where I heard that. How did I know that he can also have a good time?
You try to persuade, you gotta make some dirty dunks.
I guess.
There's some things in there.
So I said Pete Mackanin.
Your formatting is really bad, by the way.
I was in 6th grade. It's not that bad.
Why are there spaces between your paragraphs?
I don't know.
Your formatting is horrible.
Anyway.
It's double spaced, though. That's good.
I don't think it's that bad for a 6th grader. Anyway. So, 2 reasons. They've got Aaron Nola, Maikel Franco, and Odubel Herrera. And also they've got Pete Mackanin as a manager. And then this is where it gets really, really, really sad. Are you prepared for this?
Mm-hmm.
Third and final reason is prospects. The Phillies had 7 prospects in 2015-2016 in the top 100 prospects list. That's really good.
Yeah, that is
7 in the
very
top
good.
100 is so good. Their top prospect, J.P. Crawford, is going to start this season in AAA. J.P. Crawford is gone.
I don't even know who that is.
Walks. He was their top prospect, obviously. He was a shortstop. He played with them for, I think, 2 years. He's on the Mariners now.
Oh.
Yeah, so that tells you all you need to know about J.P. Crawford. He was their top prospect, no longer on the team. They also have great pitcher, Jake Thompson. I believe he started, a couple games for them and then moved to the bullpen, and then they got rid of him. Nick Williams, who started for, I think, 2 seasons, also gone. And Roman Quinn are other notable prospects. I was basing the fact that the Phillies would turn this thing around because of J.P. Crawford, Jake Thompson, Nick Williams, and Roman Quinn.
I do like Roman Quinn.
Yeah, but he's always hurt.
No, I know. Yeah, he's always hurt.
Yeah,
I'm not saying I like him as the best player on our team, but I think he's decent.
I can't blame my 6th grade self because I'm pretty sure the Phillies front office also believed that these prospects that were highly touted, all in the top 100, would be good. Thompson and Williams came over in the Cole Hamels trade. This was the year after Cole Hamels was traded to the Cubs.
Why do you not capitalize Cole?
I don't know.
And you capitalized Hamels. It looks kind of weird.
I'm sorry. Okay, I fixed it. On top of that, the Phillies have the number 1 draft pick this year. That pick won't have an effect on this year, but it proves that the Phillies are prepared to improve beyond this season. And again, that pick was Mickey Moniak.
Great player. Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
And this is my favorite. This is my favorite paragraph that I wrote. Although some, parentheses, okay, many, will say that the Phillies had the worst record last year and did not make any big moves to improve themselves, the Phillies have improved. They added Vincent Velasquez, Brett Oberholzer, Jeremy Hellickson, Charlie Morton, Mark Appel, Tyler Goodell, and many others. That's so sad, man. Charlie Morton is the only good one in there, and he got hurt this year. Vincent Velasquez, you can tell he hadn't been here for a while because I called him Vincent. And then all the other guys who were terrible. Also, they did not have a stable lineup last year. This year they do. I don't know why. I thought it would be more stable this year. I'm not saying that they will be one of the best teams, but I'm saying they will make significant strides this year and get out of the cellar. That part I got right. They did get out of last place. They finished 4th in the NL East. Although I was wrong, they did not improve by 10 games, unfortunately. They improved by 8.
Ooh, you were close.
They went from 63 wins to 71 wins and finished 4th in the NL East.
That's kind of sad.
Well, that's not too sad because at least they were progressing. Yeah. They progressed from 63 wins to 71 wins in 2016, and then 2017, I think, was when they went 80 and 82. And then they've been at 80 and 82, 81 and 81 for the last 3 years since then. Yeah, that's where 80s. It's been sad. Yeah. The rebuild was looking good.
Have we finished above 500 recently?
No, they haven't made the playoffs, and they haven't finished above 500 in a decade if they don't do it this year. Exactly.
We gotta finish above 500.
The rebuild from 2014, it was progressing upward. It was going well. They had a bunch of prospects. They were improving their record every year. We hit 2017. The prospects started coming up. They started being bad, and they've just been kind of flatlining for the last 3 years.
Yes.
It's very sad. And I want the Phillies to make the playoffs. Is that too much to ask?
Yes.
I get the way the last decade has gone, I guess it is.
We want Philly to succeed, and we want you to call J.G. Graybill.
Speaking of local baseball teams that we root for, the Lancaster Barnstormers are 25 and 26. Yeah.
Why'd you refresh? Are they
I was making sure that it was still
a 10-game win streak for the Long Island Ducks. That is insane.
The Long Island Ducks are pulling away. They are now 6 games ahead of the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs. Very impressive. York Revolution, still not doing very well. Still in the basement. Lexington Legends now no longer own the best record in the league due to this Long Island Ducks run. The Legends have lost their last 4 straight.
Wow.
Luckily, they built up a huge lead, so they're still 4.5 games ahead of the High Point Rockers. Gastonia Honey Hunters and West Virginia Power still not playing very well.
Not panning out.
But that's the Atlantic League update. The Barnstormers are not there to boost our morale after that depressing 15 minutes of Philly talk.
I'm so depressed.
By the time this comes out, actually, we will have a lot decided by the Phillies because
we will be above 500.
When this comes out, from the time we're recording this to when it actually comes out, the Phillies will have played 2 games against the Braves. They'll have wrapped up their series.
And we will have won both those games.
I sure hope so.
And we will only be very minimal games behind the Mets.
Sure. Because, dude, I think I've already said this, but I'm going to say it again, phrased slightly differently. This is it. This is the year. If you don't make the playoffs this year, this is the 3rd year in a row that you've wasted of this roster.
This is
it. This is the window. This is the year.
And this is it.
You can't.
Episode 110.
Obviously.
We will see you next week.